Have the strength of your convictions, movie. If you want a Spanish title, have a Spanish title. You don't have to throw English in there. Would it make sense to say Hitman Dia del Soldier? No, just go all Spanish. Sicario, Day of the Soldado is the continuing story of the battle between the DEA agents and the Mexican drug cartels along the U.S.-Mexican border. It brings back Josh Brolin. Benicio del Toro does not bring back Emily Blunt. It is one of those movies I didn't think I needed a sequel for, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be good. Well, let's find out with 5 things you might want to know about Sicario, Day of the Soldado. I didn't go into this one with high expectations, and you know what? I kind of liked it. There's some stuff to like here. Let's start with a warning, though. This movie's brutal. It is not afraid to show you the direct consequences and casualties of what violence means in a war over drugs, a war over religion, whatever the case may be. This movie kind of touches a little on both. Whatever that is, this movie isn't afraid to explore exactly what that means on the screen. If you are sensitive to seeing that stuff portrayed, be ready or maybe avoid it because it's real here. But here's the thing about that. I think that actually does add to the intensity of the movie and kind of grounds it in a little bit of authenticity that makes the experience feel more real or at least deeper in many ways. And the tension here is much like the first. Now, you may remember or not remember, I didn't actually like the first Sicario as much as most people did. I admired it. There's certainly things I enjoyed about it, but I found the tension in the movie to be start and stop. And I think that's the case here, but when it is working, it is really working. There's nothing here on the level of the border scene in the first movie, which I think is one of the most tense and well-directed set pieces in movies in the last several years. There's nothing on that level here, but there are moments where this movie does recapture that idea of the tenseness of the situation. And for that, I think the movie deserves credit. The other place the movie deserves credit for is in the performances. Specifically, Benicio del Toro is so good in this movie. Like, awards worthy good in this movie. I was so impressed by his performance from start to finish. I mean, Brolin's great too. As Catherine Keener is really good. There's other great performances here. I like all of the little performances around these characters, like Brolin's team of guys. I like each of those individuals, even though they don't have necessarily a lot to do. They have a presence to them. But man, Del Toro, he's working on a really interesting, different level. There's something about an actor who can portray authenticity while at the same time quirky and being different, because it gives them such an interesting thing to grab onto, because you know kind of exactly who they are and how they relate to the world. And also you somehow identify with them even though they're different than you. He's got that down. This character is no different, and it really elevates the movie, I think, much beyond it probably deserves to be. So what doesn't work? Well, I don't think the message works in this movie. It just all rang a little hollow to me. There's something this movie is trying to say about the grit and grime of war, much as the first Sicario was, but it's hard to find the purpose of what they want me to come away with. And maybe that's the point. Maybe they don't want me to come away with anything except feeling all garbled about that world. If that's the point, you succeeded. However, it was not a good experience for me. And maybe that's a personal thing, but I do think the movie really suffers from a flow that tells you a story where you understand what you want and what you desire from these characters. And because I didn't have that, I wasn't able to engage in a complete and full way, and it brings the movie down quite a bit. The other thing I didn't like, and I'll actually just give this a yellow because I don't know that it'll matter to most people, I don't like the way this movie ended. I don't like the idea that every movie has to set something up, and I'm not giving anything away. But this movie chooses to end in a way that leaves you thinking, oh, what's the next part of the story? And I'm just getting a little bit tired of that. And so it did bring me down walking out of the theater just going, why did you have to end like that? That doesn't make sense to me. And I think that's also intensified by the fact that I didn't understand where the movie wanted to take me. And so at the end, it just even felt more garbled and more weird. But that may not bother you, but it did bother me a little bit. Overall, though, it's a decent movie, more than I expected. specifically has to do with great performances and some tense moments, I'd still give it right at a B minus. Thanks for checking out this Your Movie Friend review. We'll get to the best ever challenge here in a bit. Before we do, though, let's connect further. Hit me up on Twitter, Aaron Dicer, Aarondicer. Love chatting there about movies. Feel free to hit me up there, ask me questions, all that kind of stuff. And we can put those questions right on our podcast, SiftPop, SiftPop. It's a weekly pop culture podcast. We have a blast, a lot of fun. Talk about whatever the big movies are that week and some other pop culture stuff. If you do the podcast thing, just search for SiftPop, SiftPop. And if you don't do the podcast thing, well, let me know. I can teach you how. It's really fun. Also, thank you for hanging out here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube so you don't miss future videos. Hit the little bell, I think they call it, so you can be alerted when new videos come out from Your Movie Friend, if you haven't done that yet. And comment here at YouTube as well. All that stuff's great. And thank you for supporting. Those who support at patreon.com/YourMovieFriend, you keep this thing going. $3 a month, and we put some perks there as well. But thank you so much, because without you, I actually couldn't do this as much as I do. So thank you. Appreciate it. All right, on to the Best Ever Challenge, where you name the best movie ever in a particular category. Also try to identify my choice. Loved him in this movie. So let's do Best Ever Benicio del Toro movies. There's some good ones, some good recent ones. I'm going to have to go with the good recent one where, much like the Battle of the Drug Cartel and the DEA, at least according to the title of the movie, this is a battle that should be going on forever. Take a guess at mine in the comments. First person to get it right does get a point. I'd love to see your choice there as well. As always, I'll give you a few extra seconds here to hit subscribe at YouTube. When my face pops up, just click it.